the last 40 years, the Western world has said, let China develop, let it get rich, it's going to become like us, and we're all going to be happy. China is not doing that. In fact, it's increasingly belligerent. And Canada is caught in a problem with that. Chris Alexander, he knows his business. He was a former Canadian ambassador. He was a former Canadian member of Parliament. He joins me now because I want to know your view on how Canada should change its view vis-a-vis China.
Well, the first thing we need to do is be much bolder. This idea that you speak softly and talk behind closed doors about everything, or yeah, you try and overwhelm them with the Rocky Mountains. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have got to embarrass the Chinese when their ambassador says totally inappropriate things publicly here. There's wolf warrior diplomacy happening now from China. That means not an impolite response, but a firm response from the highest levels. We also need to use the leverage we have.
Are we beholden to China, though? Because we don't have any armed forces to speak of. And we need to buy a lot of their things and sell a lot of our things.
Everything we buy from China, we could buy in Vietnam, we could buy in Africa, we could make ourselves.
What about our sales of canola and beef? Last year they stopped those.
Absolutely. They still have a huge trade surplus with us. And so the leverage is actually on our side if we choose to use it. Moreover, there are things coming up that are symbolic. The Beijing Winter Olympic Games are set to happen next year. I don't think a country that is committing genocide against its own people should be hosting the Olympics.
Right.
We saw 1936 in Berlin. We saw 1980 after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan. It would be inappropriate for Canada and the world to go to Beijing for these games.
In fact, some people would say it's wrong because we are then simply supporting this Chinese regime.
And propping up massive human rights abuses in a year when democracy in Hong Kong has been virtually dismantled. Human rights abuses are multiplying, the surveillance state is strengthening its role, and genocide is happening against the Uyghur people.
So, okay, I know people now watching this are saying, okay, but how are we going to get impacted financially? It's nice to say these things, but what about financially? And you said everything that we buy, we can buy somewhere else. And are you saying everything we can sell somewhere else, or still sell to China?
Absolutely. And we can use the leverage to open new markets. There are lots of countries that want to do China's business and steal China's trade flows. Let's start making that a reality.
Right.
Moreover, we're not alone in this fight. The United States, Europe, and Australia, if we act together, are going to back us up. But where's the weak point for Canada? It's not in Canadian public opinion, which has turned massively against China. It's not actually in Canadian corporate culture, which is diversifying its supply chains.
Let me guess, it's in the PMO?
It's at the top of the pyramid with the guy they call Little Potato, quite unkindly. But it goes back a long way to the role his father played and to the dinner table talk in the Trudeau family, which was massively blind to China's sins even then in the 60s and 70s.
Maybe the little potato has to be the mashed potato. I said that, not you. Chris Alexander, 3 minutes. Thanks very much. This pandemic is serving to make governments at all levels bigger. And with bigger governments, you have reduced liberties, which means you really need an independent press, because without an independent press paid for by Justin Trudeau, you aren't going to be hearing about the abuses in government. And that's what this is all about. It's important to know what is going on with our country. And so, I have to pay for the crew and have to pay for the equipment. We want to continue this service. And we're appealing to you to make some donations to help us out. You can pay through the PayPal, which is right below this, and we'll be very grateful in order to keep this going so that we know what is happening in Canada.